Hello and welcome to Broadsword Wargaming. In this video, I am going to be doing a faction focus on Adeptus Custodes for Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team.
The Adeptus Custodes are the Imperium's most elite warriors, each warrior a work of art. They are the shield that defends the Golden Throne on Holy Terror. Once mustered for war, they are unstoppable.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please do click that subscribe button for more videos to come, or check out the links below if you wish to support the channel in any other way. This one is another in the Kill Team Faction Focus series. I'm sort of over halfway, maybe 3/4 now at this point. If you haven't seen the other videos or want to see other factions, do check out all the links and the other playlist up there I'll leave for you for any factions you're interested in. This one should be relatively quick. You can only really have two types of models, so Custodes are really hard, they wear golden armor. Are they any good? Let's find out. Why play Adeptus Custodes? If you like super duper humans who are more super than other superhumans, a bit taller, a bit stronger, a bit faster, pretty hard to kill, covered in gold armor, have massive halberds with bolt guns attached, then they're possibly the faction for you. Pros. These guys are ridiculously resilient, more so than the disgustingly resilient Nurgle, because you have 3 wounds at toughness 5 with 2+ saves, built-in invulnerables, feel no pains against wizards. I don't know what more there is to say. These guys are really hard to shift. Morale is not really a thing with this kill team either. You can have 2 to 3 models, sometimes 4, depending on what points value you're playing, and at Leadership 8, you can't even lose enough guys to force you to fail a nerve check. So nerve checks, who cares? Along with those, this is not actually a pro I'd normally put in there, but they are a straight one-box kill team. You can have a leader, you can have a couple of spear guys, and a couple of sword guys. Fine, you don't have access to the Terminator, but there's a full box for like 25 quid. Awesome. Cons. You do not get very many of these models in a kill team. They are some of the most expensive models you can get in a game. You don't really have a kill team of bigger than 2 or 3 models, depending on what loadouts you take. You also have a really limited choice of weapons and models. You can either take the spear or the sword and shield on your normal guys. That's it. Yeah, not much flexibility in this box set. And finally, you are going to struggle with board control. As I'm sure you've guessed, having only 2 or 3 models on the board does not bode well for holding objectives, particularly in something like Arena, where they can stand in front of doors and just feed you poxwalkers at 3 points a model. In 4 or 5 turns, you're not going to get very far. So make sure you're killing what you need to kill, and you really need to choose your targets wisely. Specialist abilities. These guys are absolutely full of special abilities to make them the superhuman killers that they are. They do struggle in some places, but I'm going to tell you some of the best tactics and some of the best ways I think you can play these models. The first one is that you should all know is you can have a kill team with the Custodes with only 2 models in it. That's normally a Terminator and a normal guy, or your list would have 3 normal troops. For 100 points or 125, you're not going to get any more than that. The Custodes have superior transhuman physiology. This allows them to ignore the hit penalties from all flesh wounds they have. So if they've got 2 flesh wounds on them, you're not at minus anything to hit, unlike the Space Marines who have superior transhuman physiology, which allows them to ignore the first flesh wound. With the ability Aegis of the Emperor, all models in your kill team have a 5+ invulnerable save and a 6+ feel no pain against mortal wounds in the psychic phase. The final ability is the Emperor's Chosen. This gives you a faction-wide +1 to your invulnerable saves. Team that up with Aegis of the Emperor, everyone's already getting 4+ invulnerable saves. You better get ready to kill these models with some mortal wounds or a sheer weight of fire, because they are not going to go down easily. Let's take a look at some of the equipment you can give to your models. You can either take the sword and shield or the spear. That's it. I think overall the spear is generally regarded as the better weapon. It has a better range profile and a better combat profile, but the sword and shield will give you a 3+ invulnerable save rather than the standard 4+. It's up to you to decide which one you think is best. I guess against multi-damage, high -AP, high-strength weapons, that invulnerable save could save a model, and with so few models, it's going to make a difference. I think both in combat are going to slay anyway. I think the sword or the spear do just as well at killing things, although the spear does do it better. You can have a Miscordia. This is a free upgrade that gives you a free attack at no penalties and no modifiers to anything else you do, so probably take that as it's another free attack. the Terminator has an axe. This is awesome for killing those toughness 4 models. It's a little bit extra, +2 strength, I think, and will slay. Again, it's up to you to decide whether you want these weapons or whether you even want to include a Terminator, but all the weapons you have are really good. The Custodes actually have quite a lot of tactics. They only started with 6, I think, and then got a lot more when the annual came out. This does give them a little more variety in how you play them, as obviously some of those are for the Terminator only, so weren't that useful and were kind of very situational. But I'm going to go through the ones I think are best, or the ones I use most frequently if playing Custodes. Spark of Divinity. For 1 CP, this allows you to do a Deny the Witch roll. Now, against things like Grey Knights or Thousand Suns, mortal wounds are a good way to get through and kill your guys. So for 1 CP, situational, as only very few models have Psykers, but is very good. Inspire Fear. For 1 CP, you pick a non-shaken model, easy because you never get shaken, and every enemy model within 3 inches of that adds 1 to their nerve check. This is great for weak, low leadership factions, things like Ashton Militarum, or any of the Horde armies and things you want to really slow down. Coming out in the annual, you have Avenge the Fallen. For 1 CP, you can, if you've lost a model, add 1 D3 attacks to another model on the board. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you lose a model with Custodes, you're going to start struggling. So if you're really swamped and do need to kill more things, an extra D3 attacks can kill an extra D3 models because your weapons are so good. Another tactic I really like is Piercing Strike. For 1 CP, you add 1 to the wound rolls for any model with a spear for a whole fight phase. Really nice because you can combine this with something that allows you to attack twice, or if you're coming against models, you're going to be wounding pretty much everything on 3s. This will allow you to wound on 2+. There are, of course, lots of other abilities. Some of them are kind of interesting. There's ones that allows you to teleport Terminators in, but not that useful because you only really have 1 Terminator anyway. Some really useful abilities and some other really useless ones. Take a look through and see what you think. A standard kill team roster. This bit is going to be really easy because if you're playing 100 or 125 points, it makes very little difference because your models are 33 or 67 points. So you can't ever get more than 3 even in a 125 point game. Perhaps really Games Workshop should have made them 31 points a model, allowing you to get 4 in an Elites game. Is 4 too OP? I don't know, could be. But your list is going to be 3 Custodians or 1 Custodian Guard and 1 Terminator. That's pretty much it. I'm generally going to be taking 3 guys with spears or 2 guys with spears and 1 guy with a sword and shield to tank some hits. Just depends on what opponent I'm playing. If you're taking a roster to a tournament, you're going to struggle at tournaments because you cannot hold objectives, and most tournaments now play hold, hold, kill, kill, something like that. So having so few models is going to really quite difficult to win a tournament, but that doesn't mean you can't do it for quite good, fun game. How do I feel about the Terminator and the single guy? I think personally I'd prefer 3 standard guards because they're really, really hard as it is. People are going to struggle to kill them, and if you lost your Terminator in a game, I think you'd struggle anywhere to do anything because they could just throw 1 really poor model at you each turn and you're stuck there. As far as specialisms, 1 has to be a leader. The next one I'm taking is possibly a veteran. Going to spend that CP to get my first move up the board, get as close as I can to the opponents and close down. If they're a shooting army, close them down. If they're a combat army, fine, you're pretty good at combat 2s. And finally, a combat for the extra attack. Zealot obviously can be quite handy because you have +1 strength and +1 attack. You don't really need the +1 strength, although it will allow you to wound toughness 3 models a lot easier. So up to you, but it does involve the charge phase, and I think you're going to end up locked in combat if you get there. There you have it. That's another faction focus done. How do I feel personally about Custodes? Well, I like them. They're fun, perhaps really good for a newer player because you can buy them in 1 box. They don't have to be that difficult to paint, and they can be quite forgiving because they're so hard to kill. They don't die that easily. You can make a mistake and not get punished for it. Not necessarily the most fun to play against because they don't go down. So they come with a bit of a learning curve perhaps because model placement is going to be really important, but still good fun. Not much more to say about these ones. If you've enjoyed the video, please do remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the alarm bell below for more videos to come. Check out all the links below. I've got the Amazon link down there. I've got some links for Element Games and Grim Dice Gaming to buy your models, and I've got my Patreon as well. That's a really nice Discord group where we all talk about hobby and talk about tactics and paint our models and support each other. So for all of my Patreons, thank you very much for supporting me. I really, really appreciate it. Nothing else to say, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in another one soon. Take care.